Colleen covered the stories of countless Canadians for decades on CBC's Morning Live. Heather Hiscox had a front row seat to many of these interviews. She joined us to reflect on Colleen Jones's friendship, storytelling, and lasting legacy.
She gave everything to everyone and everything in every moment. Her boys, Luke and Zach, I mean, they're just extraordinary family in terms of closeness and how much they meant to her. You know, she did so much. She wanted to be an inspiration and a source of pride to them. But then they were, of course, in exchange as they became older men and young men now, but men now, you know, such a source of pride and inspiration to her. They were so close. Her husband, Scott, very close. To watch him care for her, as I did last weekend, it was extraordinary. And her family, I mean, this huge family of 9, you know, just such a close and loving family. But as I said, curling, family, and broadcasting, those were the 3 pillars of Colleen's life, and she was a champion in all of them. And that's what I will really take away from her. She gave everything and lived everything to the fullest. I mean, gratitude personified for everything that happened in her life. And I think, you know, I already try to do that, but certainly she's a reminder of why that's important. You know, I don't know if you can see this, Andrew. I mentioned there's going to be coverage today, and I was in Halifax actually to take part in a recording for something that you're going to see on the National tonight. And this was the picture that I sent in to the producer of that. I make sure it doesn't catch the light here. But this was the 2 of us. Mm-hmm. And what do you see there? You see the smile. That's what I'm going to remember for sure. You know, even if she hadn't seen you forever, just beaming. Hello, you know, a true friend.
There it is. We're showing it. We're showing it again. Are you showing it?
Yeah, I get it.
We've been showing it, Heather.
You've been showing it. I mean, well, so, you know, with a friend, Andrew, it doesn't matter how long it's been between seeing them. If it's a good friend, if it's a true friend, if it's a close friend, you're right back. You're right back in your rhythm and your dialogue and your closeness and your conversation and your engagement with each other and each other's lives. And we lived in separate provinces. She had many, many close friends, but we were close friends. And so that was an occasion where I hadn't seen her for a while, but I happened to be coming out to Halifax to host something. And afterwards, she said, come out to the bay and come out to see. I hadn't seen her cottage before. So my husband was traveling with me and her husband was there. And so the 4 of us, she showed us all around. We went up to Lunenburg where Scott works. She loves Lunenburg. And you want to see a scene. Everybody in Lunenburg knows Colleen. Everybody in Canada knows Colleen, let's be frank. And walking on the streets with Colleen, everybody wants to say hi. Everybody wants a picture. She engaged with everyone happily, never in a bad mood. You know, hi, how are you? So we had a lovely lunch in Lunenburg, and again, she's showing us around. I knew Lunenburg. I lived in Halifax and worked in Halifax, but seeing it through Colleen's eyes was anew, if I can say that way. And then she took us to her cottage, and to be there in this place that just meant so much to her. It was her special place. It was her peaceful place, her happy place, if you will. And, you know, on the water, in this cottage, where she spent as much time as possible and where she lived out her final days. It's just the perfect place. It's exactly what she would have wanted, of course. It was just a special moment. So this was just around the corner from where she lives. And she had taken me because, again, in keeping with Colleen and what we just talked about, how she wanted to showcase the ordinary person and their achievements. She wanted me, we both loved lattes. She wanted me to try this new latte place that she had discovered, this little shop in Mahone Bay, and off we went to make sure that I tried this latte so she could tell me about this person who'd opened a coffee shop, and she loved his coffee shop, and I had to try it. Again, always celebrating those around her, lifting them up, and making the ordinary extraordinary as only Colleen could.
Heather Hiscox is the former host of CBC Morning Live.